Hi guys, a bit of a different video today. I have been wanting to create a recipe box for a long time. So when I decided to, my daughter said you should make it like a chest with a curved lid like I've done before. Right. Um, so I thought, right, I can do that. I've done it before. So I had to dig out the video that I did. It was a Ustream video. So before I go on, I'm just showing you all the pieces that I'm using, um, the hinges and the chipboard pieces, and this is heavyweight or medium to heavyweight chipboard. So there's all the sizes there. That's just for the box that the cards are going to go in. The lid will come later. So it was a Ustream recording. It was, I don't know whether it was live. I'm assuming it was a live recording. No, it wasn't. I did it when I was on the Scrapadabadoo Design Team. So, yeah, could have been live. Could doesn't matter. So, oh my goodness, how I did it back then is beyond me because I had all sorts of problems trying to recreate it. I'm better off doing things off the bat without any example in front of me because it was a nightmare. I have edited this down to 50 minutes, just over 50 minutes, so I think it took about 10 days to make all up. Now I'm just reinforcing those hinges there with some A-Lens tacky glue. So all the hinges are on and I'm now going to put the sides, the back, front and sides on. So that's what we're doing there. And this is the easy part, guys. Oh my goodness. I designed the size due to the index cards that am using for the recipes, and they're 8 by 5, but then when they're laminated, they end up being about 8 and 3/8, 8.5. Yeah, something like that. Anyway, so that's what determined the width of the box, and the height was just that I wanted the, well, I mean, I could have had it lower because we got the height with the domed lid. Um, so I don't know. I probably could have done the height of the box a bit shorter, say about 4 inches, because I do want tabs on the top of some of the cards, like I'm going to make dividers for them. Um, but as they are, I'm fine with it. So it does the job. So making boxes is very tedious, um, but I love the end result because you can make it your own. Same with all my storage items. They're great because they work for me. I design them so that they work the best for me. They give me more room to move on my craft desk and um, on my shelves and everything because it's all designed with what stock I have on hand and all the tools that I use. So give the storage units a go. I mean, unlike Americans, we in Australia don't have a lot of shops or a lot of stores that sell cheap storage items. So we pretty much have to make our own or adapt what we can get to our own. And I'm fine with that. So anyway, here we go. We're still working on this box. Yep. Now I made these hinges angled on one end and flat on the other so that the flat end sits at the top. And I think I stuffed it up again. I do it all the time. I have the best intentions. So I probably stuck that down. Wait, let's have a look. I'm just putting some glue in where that's going to join on to the other piece of chipboard. Oh no, I actually do it right that way. Well, shock horror. Hmm. Must have been another unit that I stuffed up. But anyway, yeah, come to think of it, I think I should have made it an inch less in height. So I think I did it 5.5 inches tall, so I could have done it 4.5 inches tall. Now, it's going to take me forever to populate this. I have um, a Google Docs recipe album, which is shared amongst the family, and I just have to copy and paste, but then I have to format and everything onto the cards to suit it. So um, I'll get back to that. So pretty much I had a useless compass to begin with, so um, I had to do it this way. So all you need to do, if you've got a decent compass, trace a 6-inch circle and then cut it in half. And these are for the side arches for the lid. Yep, so these pieces are probably 6 inches by 3 inches. So there we go. And now I had to cut it out using my craft knife. Now you won't see the edge, so if you stuff it up a bit, you can hide it because it's going to be joined and then covered with paper. So don't worry too much if you're not too good on the old craft knife. Because we can work around that. So yeah, I have done about 8 of these recipe cards so far, and I think I'll show you one or two that I did towards the end of the video, and that's how I'm making them. And I will, yeah, I just sanded those edges there just to get them a bit smoother. Okay, sort of happy with them. Alright, so what I wanted to do, I've got accents to cover certain areas on the box. So I took some craft text and ran it through my embossing folder. I think Clockworks it was. And now I'm going to paint it up in these 3 colours. Just randomly, just putting it on randomly. Um, yeah, so what was I saying? I've made a couple of the cards, and I've made about 8 now, which they've come in handy already because I go over every fortnight to my eldest daughter's house, and I cook them 3 sort of big meals for the week, and I'm not there to do like the sides or anything like that. So on the Monday when I was over there last. I brought my recipe cards over. I made sure the ones that I made were the ones I was going to use at her house. Alright, so just taking some metallic wax here in graphite and rubbing it over, plus some peacock and then some treasure gold white fire metallic wax. So one of the she wanted crumb chicken Caesar salad was one meal, and another meal was shepherd's pie, well, cottage pie, and another one was pork rashers with garlic potatoes. So I said, right, well, you're going to have to either put the salad together yourself, cook the eggs to the soft boiled eggs for the finishing off of the chicken Caesar salad. I made the croutons and cooked the bacon and cut it all up and rinsed off the lettuce and put it in the fridge. So all she had to do was boil the eggs and then put it all together. Okay, so I've just cut. Now, I went back and had a look to see what die I had to make these faux hinges. Well, it was a cricket die, so rather than get it out and find it, I just decided to get one of Tim Holtz's, I can't remember what it was. It's just one of his little alterations dies, one of the little ones. And so I cut it out using the Craftex, obviously, but then I cut another one from cardstock just to sort out where I'm going to do the holes to put the brads. Now, this is where I stuffed up. I used the heavyweight chipboard at first for the roof of the lid, and it just did not want to bend properly. So I took two very lightweight pieces of chipboard and joined those together, and that's what I'm using for the lid because I get the nice curve. So I just took the curved edge of that arch piece and just ran it over just to determine the length of the lid. So that's how easy that was to determine how long you wanted that lid. And mine ended up being 9 3/8 by 8 3/4 across for the width of the lid and 9 3/8 for the length. So here I am now going to join these two lightweight pieces of chipboard together. Anyway, back to my story. Yeah, just using Aileen's tacky glue there. Back to my story. Well, she wanted to know how long to cook the eggs. Well, I said that's in the recipe too. So I left to that card, and I made the garlic potato. We had the garlic potatoes and the pork rashers with a bit of a salad that night. So this is what's it called? Tyvek. So this is to join the back of the box to the lid. I forgot to score it there, so I'm just going to put it down now. Okay, just attach it to the back on the outside. Yeah, I started off wanting to just use the hinges, but it didn't work out. So what did I do here? I did something wrong. So in order to take that off, I had to heat set it to carefully remove the glue. What am I doing here? Gonna cover it now. I needed to cover it first before I put that back piece on. That's why. So I've got the paper and I'm using, the name of the paper pad will be put in the description below the video. So yeah, had to cover it first so I could then put that Tyvek on. So yeah, I was gonna have just the faux hinges, but then it didn't seem strong enough. So that's why I used that for the hinge, and then adding the Craftex hinges. So that was the theory behind that one. So anyway, all in all, what I was in a roundabout way trying to let you know is I left the card there and it was easily done for her. And if I needed it between now and when I go over there again before I grab it, I'll have it in my Google Docs recipe album. So all good. Long story short, but there you go. So they and they're so good because they laminated, and so therefore they any mess you spill on them while cooking, you just wipe it over. So here I am doing what I normally do to the base of the boxes when I cover it like this is I wedge a piece in each of the corners, then attach those corners down. Um, I've got to use wet glue here in a minute. Yeah, attach those down so they cover those corner pieces, those raw edges of the chipboard. So that's what's going on there. And now when you adhere the sides back and front, you don't see that ugliness of the wedge there. So do that to the back, and I think I also did it to the, I mean that was the base, and I also did it on the inside, and I think that's where I'm coming to next. Yes, I did. Yep, wedged those as well. They were a bit harder to slot into the where the sides meet, but we did it. There we go. Not too bad at all. And that then covers all the raw edges of the chipboard. So here we go. Burnish, burnish, burnish. Alright, so what am I going to do now? We're going to put this same piece back on. There we go. Too easy. Okay. Yep. Too far down one side, really. Never mind. Alright, so here we go. We've got another strip. Oh, this is... Yeah, don't start this way. Start at the other opposite angle because we want the first one to be removed. Oh, anyway, I'll show you that later. What we're making is a shark tooth hinge. So I've cut that at, I think 1.5 inches by 9 3/8, whatever the length of the lid was. So that's what it ends up to be, and that helps you, yeah, stuff that up. It helps you attach your arches to the top of, like, to the lid. So this is just time consuming. If you've got 1/2 inch tape or 3/4 inch tape, I'd do that. So here I am just rolling that arched piece onto the glue that's on that hinge. Okay, and that's how easy it is to attach that. Took me a while to work it out, don't you worry. Just reinforcing all those. Okay, so now this was the hard part. Yep, trying to work out which way to put it to start her off. So here we go. Just get that edge lined up first. And then try and keep those shark teeth out of the road so they don't get wedged in between the chipboard pieces there. And then just try and curve it around as evenly as possible. Reinforce it. Okay, now it's not really curving too well because we haven't got the other one on. Well, now we're going to do that. And for some reason, the lid just did not work too well. And I think it's to do with the size myself. Maybe I should have had a slightly less arch. Not sure. But the other one I did is perfect. Anyway, see how they're sort of bowed a bit? Don't matter. Doesn't matter. Don't care. It'll work fine. Alright, just reinforcing that join with some Aleene's tacky glue there. Always. Just double up on the strength of it that way. Okay. Yeah, testing her out. Yeah, so. So then I've got to join that lid on. Yeah. Just trying to work it out in my head how I'm going to do this. Okay. So because I don't, yeah, just in case I miscut the paper or mislaid it when I applied it onto the lid, I wanted to just put this lemon washi tape in the grooves there. But when I did that with my bone folder, I ripped it. So I come back later and add some more little pieces to it. And it's that thin you're not going to notice. There's going to be no bulkiness. See what I mean? I've put a hole in it then. Well, I covered it up, you can see now. There we go, no big deal. So, I just traced that curve on there, I think. And then added an extra inch so that we could fold it over. So it probably ended up, oh no I didn't. Oh, see? I found a decent compass and yep, use that and then just hand cut it out. And that way, now that I've got the washi tape in there, it's not going to be noticeable if it's not too evenly curved. Adding more stickiness to it, just to make sure it adheres well. Yeah, putting some glue in between those strips of paper. You can't have too much glue. Alright. And then they roll over on the edges, so you're not going to see any raw edges with the way I'm doing this. And if it's not that good of a washi tape, like it doesn't stick too well, that's fine. Your paper's going to be stuck to it anyway. It's not going to come up. See how I've put some masking tape just to hold that lid together to the sides. Okay, so that on the left was the heavyweight chipboard that I used, and you can see where all the ridges are in it, where I was trying to join it. Okay, so here's this. Yeah, you can see that on the left. Oh, that was a nightmare. Anyway, so now trying to oh, okay, I'm going to attach the lid to the Tyvek first so that I can then place the faux hinges. Sorry, you can't really see this. I need to have a a good look at it while I'm doing it, but the camera's not going to show you. So, alright, now just lining it up and marking where the holes are going to go for the brads. And then just piercing the holes with an awl. This is a tedious job, putting the brads in. Okay, now I'm going to get it ready to cover it with the paper. Why I'm doing that now, if I haven't, oh yeah, I have. I put the brads in, didn't show you. Alright, here we go. Yep, I just put score tape around the perimeter of that piece and then just a glue stick around the rest. So here we go. Trying to stick it in so that it's straight. And this is, remember, that's why the washi tape's in there. There were no creases in there, thankfully, and I made it longer so that it would roll over the edge. And again, not seeing any raw edges. So there we go. Okay, the hinges, the faux hinges, and the Tyvek hinge. Oh, no, I haven't done that yet. Why did I do that? Oh, okay, now I remember I had to cover it again because I didn't secure the hinges. See, this was a nightmare, start to finish, I tell ya. But this is what I give you when I give you process videos, unless, you know, I don't do them for anyone else, but just to show, well, for myself first, and while I'm doing, if I can show you something in the process, why not? I don't sell them, they're just for me to use. Alright, just finding the center of this so I can cut it so it's going to cover the outside of those arched sections. There we go, and I'll just cut that out using my scissors. Why you have to see me cut it out is beyond me. But I think this was a long time editing this video. So goodness knows what I've left in, what I've missed out, what I didn't fast forward. It was so many videos to go through, especially the ones that you didn't even see. Now I'm putting glue at the top because it's got that washi tape there, and it's a lot easier to stick to washi tape, the glue. So, sorry, out of screen there. Yep, wet glue on the washi tape. And then we got the... Yeah, it was pretty hard because you had to cover it before you put the hinges on the outside. Then you had to put the hinges on the inside before you covered the inside. So yeah, that's a lot of thinking and remembering. Now, this lightweight chipboard made it so much easier. So here you can see I'm going to now put on the craft text. So I'm going to apply some wet glue to that. Die-namics. I think it's better than the scor-tape. And here comes the bulldog clips just to secure that in place. A lot of waiting time making this. Alright, so I've got to try and do my closure now, my front lock. So just aligning it, finding the dots, and then piercing the holes. See, I should have left covering the inside of that lid till the last. I've had this closure in my drawers for so long, so I wouldn't even know where it was that I got it. Okay, punching the bottom holes now. And in go the brads. Yeah, that paper that I put on the top, that wasn't meant to go there. I meant to have a green check on the top, but I forgot. Because you're not going to see a lot of that. There you go, front closure's on. Now we're going to go around the perimeter with the rest of that craft text. Now, you'll notice on the corners, they sort of, because of the curved arch in the lid, they're going to have a little bubble, so I cut that down. You'll see that later on. There. Oh, you can only just see I'm cutting a little wedge of it out so I can, so it sort of closes better. You don't notice it after a while. Alright, so then it's time to cover the inside of the box, the base. They're a lot easier to do than the lid, I must say. Bit awkward trying to reinforce that glue. Okay, what are we doing now? Okay, we've got the rest of this craft text. Now I haven't cut it to size, so wherever it ends is wherever I cut it off then. Okay, so what am I going to do? Ah, that's the reason I didn't put those faux hinges, didn't attach those, because this was going on first. And now I've got to mark where the holes are going, using a white pen for this, so I can actually see them. And we'll pierce the holes. I'll tell you what though, uh, there is a lot of work involved, a lot of thinking, um, but it's going to be so handy when I'm using it, I think. Especially when I go over to my daughter's and she tells me what the menu is for the week, and I then can just go and get the cards and take them over rather than a big recipe book or rather than having to check online recipes. So, yeah. Alright, so now I thought I'm going to add some more of that craft text down the bottom because we've got some on the lid. So we're going to do some down the bottom. Now you'll see the join there, one was higher than the other. We won't worry about that because that'll get fixed later. Alright, this is the more monotonous part. I can't remember how many I did. But these are, I think, 3/8 of an inch wide strips that I'm covering every single one of them. And now I'm just working out how many I need. So I put some temporary adhesive underneath those Craftex strips. Well, you wouldn't think so. Excuse me. And here we go again. Using the lines on my grid mat there, so as a guide. So I need them to be just overhanging each of those strips. So I'm just trying to work out where I'm going to place them. So there they are. Okay, and then I have to pierce the holes in them because they're all going to have brads. So I'm now trying to work out. Yeah, that was the one I was going to use, and that one, that's right. I think I wanted to use the green check, but since I cut them all out, I didn't take much notice, so I'm going to alternate them. So all I did was put a bit of scor-tape on both sides of each of these strips and just wrapped it like you would a book cover. There we go. One down. I don't know how many more to go. Anyway, they're all covered, but now I've got to mark the holes. And I'm just coming in a little bit and get like in the center of the Craftex strips there. And I think I have about maybe 3/8 of an inch between them. So I've got to put holes in each end of the chipboard pieces and in the Craftex. And there we go. Yeah, fiddly. And then you got to work out which way the brads are going. They're going with the direction of the Craftex. Alright, one down and quite a few to go. So I'm just lining it up and working where that hole's going to go. And then I use that one to pierce the holes of all the others, both ends. So makes it a lot easier then. And then I'm just coming along with my ruler 3/8 of an inch and piercing the holes. And that's how, oh, 3/8? No, could be 5/8 because of the width of the chipboard there. But anyway, could be 7/8 because there's 3/8 the width of the, yeah, who knows? I haven't got it in front of me at the moment, so I tell you what, I had to clean my awl after all this gluing. It had that much stickiness on it, and it was being very hard to push through those holes because of all the yucky stickiness. Anyway, it's time to put it on. So, going to put a whole lot of tacky glue, Aileen's tacky glue on there. And because there's metal bits, and now just gonna sit it on, line it up, and hope for the best. And because the Craftex is not rigid. It's going to be bowed, so I've just had to make sure it sort of sits where it's supposed to. It's not perfect, but it'll do me. Yeah, looks quite good. Very colourful. Alright, what am I doing now? Oh, okay, so now, this was a nightmare. I had snips here to cut off those excess brad prongs. It worked so much better with the Timmy scissors. Straight off, so much better. It took me a while to work out that I could use those. It took me forever to chop these off with those snips, because otherwise they hung over the edge if I didn't. So I'm just doing that last one there. I don't know what happened there. Must have snuck down, but it's not quite as far away from the other one as the others, but it'll do. There's no drama. So I just put those two end ones on just to cover up where the Craftex, the thin piece of Craftex on the lid met the Craftex along the edge, a bottom edge of the lid. So sort of tidied it up a bit. Alright. Now I continued those to hide the edge and cover that join there at the top with some more strips. And in the end, I used hot glue to help it sit there and keep it in place. I actually put wet glue as well, but used the hot glue there just to keep it in place while the wet glue dried. Because I didn't have time to sit there and wait. Yeah, I think that was glossy accents because of the metal that I used there. Alright, and yeah, this is where I put the thin strip around the bottom. Now, I'm going to put corners on these, metal corners, so I'm just going to cut that there, so it's going to get hidden by the middle corner anyway. That way you don't see any joins. I don't just use the hot glue gun. I definitely use the wet glue as well, because we all know what happens to hot glue when it dries and with age becomes brittle and just snaps off. So there we go. What am I doing now? Oh, don't know why I did this. Covered the bottom, and you'll understand why later that I have issues with why I did that, because I'm now cutting some felt and adding it to the bottom. So I didn't really need that other piece of card paper there, pattern paper. And then I really didn't need this felt either, because then I put the metal feet on, don't I? It is what it is. Don't know what happened there, a bit choppy. Okay, now it really was getting to me how I hide those prongs, but we'll get to that in a minute. So just attaching these metal corners with some glossy accents. And I could have probably put some faux brads in there, but couldn't be bothered. Now what am I doing this for? Ah, we're decorating the front. So this is a Tim Holtz alterations die. So I painted that up with the same colours that I painted the craft text before, the edging. Then I forgot to emboss it, so did that afterwards. And so I've got the word recipes. And I hadn't put the metallic wax on there yet, so I've got to do that. It's got to be the same as the other one. Okay, done all that. Just polishing them up. And that's how I'm going to have the front. And then I'm just going to adhere that down with some Aleene's tacky glue. Yep, keep the other letters in place so you don't stuff up the order. Don't spell it wrong. Okay, there we go. Uh-huh. Now, just adding some handles. And this is another Tim Holtz alteration die. I think I've used these before for handles. Just don't know where, on what project. So just gauged it roughly where I wanted it and gave it a little bow so that the fingers could slot under to lift. There we go. So I did that to the other side as well. And then I thought, well, it hasn't got any brads in it, so I'm going to do some faux brads. And the only blue I had was baby blue in the liquid pearls. But I went along later and put some graphite over the top of it. Graphite metallic wax. But I didn't show that, I'm sorry. Yeah, that sort of looks more like a purpley blue there. Now, I thought that was a bit plain looking, so I went into my, what would you call that? All my folders with all my little stickers, clear stickers and paper stickers and such, and thought I'd add a few vegetables on it. So, yep, decided I just put another bit of paper over those, the inside of that lid, to hide those brad prongs, and cut it perfectly. Thank you very much. Ah, much better. Oh, had to do the other side. So we had the names of things on that. Fish and chips, meat, cheeses. Brad's, once the other was dry, I had to wait for it to dry before I could do the faux brads on that one. Right, and here we go with the recipe cards. So I just cut, well, it should have been 8 by 5, but it was obviously slightly a bit less. Then I printed out the ingredients list for my recipe, and then on the back I put my instructions. That's how I do my cards. Then I did 2 of them, and then run it through the the laminator, and then cut it down to size. I think they ended up being about 5.5 inches tall. So that shows you how many more I've got to add to it. There's just two in there. So, and I've yet to make the dividers. So I think what I'll do is I will do a blog post on it and put all the dimensions, even though I think I've got some dimensions in the description below, but all the pics, as well as the pics of the dividers and all the recipe cards and such. So I'll let you know in a comment or a community notice down the track once I've done all that. I've got to make quite a few recipe cards, so bear with me. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll be back with something else soon. Bye guys.